This time on Artifactually Speaking, offerings aplenty. I'm Dr. Brad Hafford, archaeologist at the University of Pennsylvania. I'm here at the ancient city of Kalhu, or Nimrud as it's known now, and we are excavating a brand new shrine, or at least one that hasn't been seen since it was destroyed nearly 2,700 years ago. It's quite exciting because we're learning so much about this temple complex. It's not just Ninurta and Ishtar. It's other deities, probably ones related to Ninurta, and you could visit any number of shrines depending on what you were asking for from the gods, I suppose. We still don't know which god this one represents, but we're pretty certain that this is a shrine and not just another gateway into the courtyard. One of the ways that we know that is the kinds of finds we're getting. Of course, the Babylonians and Medes, when they came through here, they looted pretty much everything, but they left behind fragments of things that they didn't want or couldn't use, I suppose. They smashed up things that represented the gods. It was a way to show their supremacy over the Assyrians. Well, one of the things that we have found here is an offering bowl, or a fragment of an offering bowl. And it's a ritual object. Now, yes, of course, we often say that if we don't know what it is, we call it ritual. But in this case, it's pretty clearly ritual. We are in a ritual context. This is a temple and a shrine within a temple. And the objects that we're finding are very high-end, decorative, often inscribed. So far, we don't have the name of the god inscribed, but we're still looking for that. And maybe in the door sill we have it, but the cuneiform isn't as well preserved where that name might be as we would hope. And this object too is inscribed, but of course it's fragmentary, so there's very little of the cuneiform preserved. It might suggest which god this was, and the imagery might as well. So there's a number of things to talk about here. First of all, it's a stone vessel. It takes a lot of energy to grind down the stone and make it into this fine object. Now, it's extremely well decorated. Even though we've only got a small portion of the scene, we can tell quite a bit from it. Now, this is fairly typically Mesopotamian decoration. It has a bull advancing towards an altar, and that altar has a symbol on it. The symbol, it looks kind of like a spear, but we think it's the spade. Now, a spade, a digging tool, is representative of the god Marduk. Now, I would doubt that this is a shrine to Marduk, but I suppose it's possible. Marduk is mentioned on the Kuduru fragment that we've gotten from this room, but he's just one of the gods, and he's the chief god of the Babylonians. Now, they were the big rivals for the Assyrians, and eventually they toppled the Assyrians. So it might seem odd that there could be a representation of Marduk, but he is part of the pantheon of deities, so he is represented, and it would make some sense. I still doubt that this is really dedicated to him, even if this is his symbol on this particular, bowl. It is a very shallow dish, as you can see. We do have the rim. The rim is decorated with a really nice, kind of meander design. And that's more of a Greek phrase, and if we were to call this vessel in the Greek name, it might be a fiale. And a fiale is a shallow dish that sometimes was used to pour libations to earth deities, but it might also be used perhaps to burn things in or just to offer small amounts to the god, a representative sample. It doesn't have to be a big thing. You can offer a little bit. Well, the rim is designed, and we can see that it's very shallow. It's really well polished here, and it's got a high foot on it. And this foot, too, has a carved rim. It's a ring base, but to do that takes extra energy when you wouldn't even see it. So they have spent a lot of time on this, and that shows that it's a very important object. Now, just because it's so decorated and time-consuming doesn't necessarily mean it's ritual, but we know the use of a saucer like this typically is ritual. It wouldn't really serve many other purposes. It's so shallow that it is kind of representative for objects to the gods, really. and the fact that it is inscribed underneath. So this is beneath the rim, and you really wouldn't see that, but of course the God sees all. So we've got very high relief decoration that takes a lot of energy and time, and it's actually quite good. You can really see that bull, its horns, its eye, and they've inscribed it. They've taken so much time to make it. Well, the other animal that's moving away from that altar is much harder to understand. It's not another bull. We see its tail, and the tail looks a bit like a bird's tail. And then the body, it's bulky, and it looks almost like a lion. And I wonder if this might be a winged lion, maybe something like a griffin. We found that griffin head here as well, so I don't know, but it's another animal, and then that animal's probably moving towards another altar with another symbol, and then an animal and an altar with a symbol. So this represents many gods around it, and the animals that might represent them or that show strength. A bull and lion, both very strong animals, and that's kind of what it's all about. So, the object probably is for asking for something from the gods. What? We don't really know. Maybe whatever you wanted or whatever that god represented. The inscription, there isn't a whole lot to it, but we seem to have the very end. There are 2 lines at that last word, and John McGinnis tells me that this word probably says something like years. So I'm asking for something for many years, for all the years, or something like that. In perpetuity, I want my blessings, perhaps. So the object is really amazing. It helps us confirm the ritual nature of this structure, and we have not yet excavated the entire structure, so we hope to find maybe more pieces of this and other objects that will help us hopefully determine which god was represented in this shrine. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this stone vessel fragment with me, and I hope you'll join me again next time on Artifactually Speaking.